You know what? I'll never forget the moment I heard shh. Like, I knew it. I heard that. I didn't even need to say, here's Sheryl. But when she won her Emmy, it's like, people will always say, you'll always remember when your child is born. You'll always remember when you get married. You'll always remember, when you graduate or something like that. But I will never forget the moment my mom won her Emmy, because it was as if like something had left my body. It was like my spirit was coming up, and like all I could do was like, yes, mommy, yes, mommy. And my brother and I were crying hysterically because we had seen so much of what other people haven't seen.
Thank you guys for tuning into episode 1 of Styling My Way Through. If you guys are new here, make sure you watch episode 1. And thank you to all that are tuning into episode 2. We've got a great show for you today. What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Manny Jay, and welcome to episode 2 of Styling My Way Through. I really wanted to focus this episode on trusting your journey. I think that we are living in a time now, because of social media, people feel like if they're not receiving instant success or they're not seeing instant results, maybe the thing that they're working towards isn't for them. But from experience, and the old saying goes, to be an overnight success kind of takes like 10 years. In this industry, it can get crazy. You can doubt yourself. Even if you've done something incredibly amazing that you've had on your wish list forever, it's easy to say, okay, I did this, what's next? Or it's easy for you to say, I completed this, maybe I should receive X, Y, and Z accolade. I think that when you go into stuff like that with that mentality, you're kind of actually holding back what could be for you. The best way to manifest your dreams is to know that regardless of how long it takes or when it happens, it's already yours. So just speaking it into existence, trusting that it's for you, that God already has that planned for you, because in all reality, He does. And it takes for us to do the work as well to meet God where He's at so that you can receive your blessing. So I've been styling for 10 years. When I tell you it's a roller coaster, there's times where I'm on top of the world and I feel like I'm booked and busy, and there's other times where it's radio silence. One thing that has kept me fueled throughout this whole journey is that I've been able to just mark every victory. And I say to myself, every time I do feel like I'm victorious with whatever I'm doing, whether it be a red carpet, whether it be a photo shoot, a music video, I'm like, damn, this is something that I've always wanted to do. I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy that I've been able to do this. And I know that God has more for me. Whenever you guys are doing whatever you're doing, whether that be styling, whether that be designing, whether that be acting, singing, whatever, every stream, every play, that is a play that you didn't have yesterday. That's a stream you didn't have yesterday. That is a job you didn't have yesterday. So you have to just be able to celebrate those moments, big and small. They're all adding to your story. One thing that I'm very, 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 very aware of is not comparing my journey to anyone else's journey. It's very easy to say, wow, why is X, Y, and Z doing this when I should be doing that? Or how did they get that job? I've been doing this for this long. And when you have that mindset, you're never gonna grow, because you have to always remember that everyone's journey is designed for them. People are gonna win in life. Wake up, people are gonna win. It ain't always your turn to win. And you have to just celebrate people, because people are not only putting that work in, but also opening the door for other people to step into those spaces as well. So when I see, especially brown people, doing the things that they wanna do in an industry where it's very hard to do it in, I'm gonna cheer as loud as I can, because I know how hard it is to get in those spaces and be taken seriously. There's too many jobs out there. Truthfully, there's too many jobs out there for people to be fighting over, or saying, or being jealous over it, or envious, or all that negative stuff. You gotta let that go, boo. You gotta let that go. You have to focus on yourself. You have to pray. You have to wish people well. You have to want to see people succeed, because that's the only way the universe will have you succeed. So I encourage everybody, if you're feeling like you might be looking at someone's page, or you might be a friend of somebody that you secretly are finding yourself in envious positions, you might have to reevaluate yourself. You might have to take time for yourself, maybe delete social media, maybe have open, honest conversations with your friends. Like, hey, I feel stuck. Is there any advice you can give me? If they're really your friend, they're gonna help you out, you know? And if you're really their friend as well, you're gonna be open and honest. I think that it's important to remember a healthy mindset delivers healthy results. So keep a healthy mindset, healthy results will follow. It's not easy, it takes practice, it takes work. Trust your journey. Again, I'm here, 2-time cancer survivor, also have gone through a lot of clients. I've gone through a lot of jobs. I have assisted a lot of people, and God continues to bless me in spaces that I didn't even see I could grow in. Here I am hosting a podcast. I never thought I would be hosting a podcast, a talk show, a host of any sort. I just thought, I'm a stylist. And I'm like, no, I'm so much more than a stylist. You're so much more than whatever you've been told or whatever you've been taught to think of yourself. And just remember, your flowers are yours. When you plant those seeds, your flowers are gonna grow. When you diligently water your garden, your flowers are gonna grow. You can't look at someone else's garden or look at somebody else's farm and say, I wish I had those corns in my farm. It's like, no, everything that you planted, that's yours. Trust the journey, trust the process, and watch those flowers bloom. One thing that I think is very important is to build a healthy community. When you are going through challenges, whether it be professional or personal, we all need people to lean on. We all need people to encourage us. As I was building, what helped me was going to peers, asking for advice, asking for, hey, what are y'all charging for this? Hey, if I need this, how can I approach the client and ask them for what I need? There's so many reasons why having a healthy community is really important. I didn't go to school for this. Most people that go into styling or fashion, depending on the major, they don't go to school. They just kind of learn as they go. So relationships with people that already work in the industry, I encourage just people you can call and vent to, lifting you up when you're depressed, lifting you up when you're disappointed, lifting you up when you are celebrating. I think all of that is really important when building a healthy community. I'm thankful because throughout the years, I've been able to build a healthy community through people that I've already worked with, people that also do the same thing that I do, friends from the past. I've been able to just connect with different people. And through my story, I think that I've inspired a lot of people. And at the same breath, people are inspiring me daily. When I hear about my friends going to school and accomplishing their goals, that inspires me. When I hear about people getting promotions at work, that inspires me. So I love when I see other people win. And I think that if you keep that mentality and you remind yourself that we're all winners, we're all gonna get to the end of the race, you're gonna succeed in anything that you do. Building a healthy foundation can also be really hard because in the process of building a healthy foundation, sometimes you gotta let people go. I know that's the hard thing to do. I think as humans, we're so used to, one, if we're used to the person that we're constantly with, despite their negativity, or, you know, sometimes you just grow out of relationships. I think it's important to be aware and also be able to determine whether or not this person should be in your life. Some of the ways in the past that I've been able to eliminate negativity out of my life is, I'm very observant. I think as a Scorpio, my Scorpios, where y'all at? Where y'all at? I think that I've been able to just see like, okay, this person only calls me when they see me winning. This person never takes the time to see how I'm just doing naturally. This person always wants to be around the victories, but never around the struggles. We all have those hater friends too, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna call it out. The friends that watch your stories, never comment, never like. You know, I mean, some people say, oh, that's social media, but social media is very telling. You know, we're all using it. We're using it to show people what we eat. We're using it to show people where we are, where we're shopping, what we're wearing. So if people are using it so much so that they're able to document their whole life, that means that they have enough time to hit the like button and show you a little love. So in my opinion, pay attention to that. Pay attention to when you have a friend that's never saying, I saw your work, it was so beautiful, or I saw what you just did, congratulations. That type of friend might not necessarily be happy every time you win. Another thing that I noticed is people that want to complain all the time. You know, If you're on the phone with somebody that's completely draining your energy time after time, you find yourself giving amazing advice day after day, you're supporting them at their events, you're supporting them at whatever, I mean, down to just the little victories, right? And all you hear from them is just negativity. All you hear from them is how they wish they were doing this, or why are they with this person, they feel drained. And all you hear is just negativity. Sometimes you need to let those people go too. That means that those people need to figure out what they need to do for themselves in order to get to where they need to be. And sometimes you can't be a part of that process, and vice versa. Maybe you can't take them with you where you're going, or maybe in the stage of your life where you're at, that person doesn't fit where you're at. So you have to kind of just weave that out, say, hey, I love you, I'm gonna love you from a distance, I'm gonna cheer you on from a distance, but right now we just need to take a little bit of space. So I've learned to just decipher like, hey, this person just feels really, really good at this part of my journey. This person feels like we're aligned, we're like birds of a feather flock together, you know that good saying. And then also I've been able to listen to those voices and say, wow, every time I get off the phone with this person or every time I hang out with this person, I just feel heavy and I don't like how I feel. And that's also a sign from the universe, hey, maybe you should fall back a little bit. Or maybe you should talk to your friend or your family member and say, hey, I think that, you know, right now our relationship is a little different. And you'll figure out very quickly that once you eliminate things that don't really suit your life at the time you're at, the moment of your life that you're at, once you let the things that you think you need go, other beautiful things start coming your way. So with styling my way through, one of the main reasons I created this platform was because I wanted whoever is watching this video to know that there is someone like me out there that feels like you. And sometimes I need support and I don't know where to find it. I wanted this platform to feel like you can come on here and you can relate, or maybe not. You could learn, or maybe not. You could maybe take some of the lessons that I'm teaching you and apply it to your own life. Because ultimately, like, when you're looking for your community, essentially it will find you. And for this community that I'm trying to build people up. I'm trying to help people manifest their dreams. You're not alone. We all are going through challenges in life. We're all trying to figure it out. And I hope that this platform not only heals you, but also inspires you to keep going. Again, I'm someone that beat cancer twice. I'm not supposed to be here. And here I am sharing knowledge and building a community based off of love and faith. So again, to all the viewers out there who are watching, I love you. Styling My Way Through is gonna always be here for you. I'm gonna be here for you. And this is a community I plan to continue to build and grow. And the knowledge that I learn, I hope that I can share with you all. Today, my guest is someone that I would consider a person who not only has built a beautiful community and foundation for herself, but she also pours into the lives of others. She's the vice president of Walk That LA, a community that's focused on community and wellness. I've been able to attend some of her yoga classes throughout the years, and I've been able to see with my own eyes the impact she's had on our community. Not only is Ivy pouring into our community, but her mom is the iconic Miss Sheryl Lee Ralph. Many of you know her as Moesha's mom, or maybe on the Flintstones, or maybe in Sister Act. That's her mom in real life. So it's kind of amazing to know that she is a product of someone that has touched so many lives. She's been styling her mom in recent red carpets, recent television appearances, killing it. Her mom received her first Emmy in 2022 in a custom Brandon Blackwood gown, which was his first gown ever, which to me is another example of how she is so supportive of the community and able to give opportunities to people that may not necessarily know when those opportunities or if those opportunities are gonna come their way. When I think of the career that Sheryl Lee Ralph has had, I think that it really does resonate with the theme of this episode, which is staying consistent, staying grounded, believing what's yours is yours, because essentially with time and energy and watering that beautiful garden that you've already planted those seeds in, everything blooms. And with Sheryl Lee Ralph putting in work from, years and decades of work in, for her to receive her flowers in 2022 is just a testament that when it's your time, it's your time. Even with what Ivy has been building with Walk Good LA, I've been able to see over the years when I attend those events, the crowd grows. They've been able to open their own yoga studio. They've been able to do collaborations with different brands. That takes time, that takes patience that takes watering your garden. It's really inspiring to see how Ivy and her family have been able to just be patient, wait their turn, continue to show up 100%, pour into the community, pour into the lives of others, create art without expectancy. They're just doing it. And it's beautiful for me to see such a beautiful family receiving their flowers, Ivy receiving her flowers as a stylist, as a VP at Walk Good, her mom receiving her flowers as an actress and an activist in the community. This is a reminder to stay focused, to trust your journey. I'm sure Ivy's gonna be able to share some gems about how she's been able to maintain her trust in her journey. And I'm excited to see where the conversation can go and how you can use some of these lessons into your own life. Thank you guys for tuning in to Styling My Way Through. And I would love to present to you my guest, Ivy Coco. Okay, we are here with the beautiful, talented VP of Walk Good LA, and also an incredible stylist to the stars, Miss Ivy Coco.
Thank you. I need you to introduce me in multiple places where I go.
Yes.
I need that intro. I need that intro.
Yes, I got you, girl. Wherever you need me, I'm gonna be there.
Okay,
I'm gonna be there.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
So let's just start from the beginning, right?
First of all, thank you for creating this space.
Oh, thank you.
Like, I think there's something very special about you being able to tap into health and wellness, but also what you do creatively and be able to bring the two together. I'm going to give you your flowers because you deserve that. And so I just want to let you know that I'm very proud of the community that you are building in this space.
I love that. Thank you so much. And it's, you know, I think when I think of community and I think of the guests that I'm bringing, I'm like, you have been such an anchor in the community with Walk Good, with even just sharing your journey and your family with the world. It's inspiring.
Thank you. It's a blessing. I love them. I know people love my family, but I'm like, I love them too. Like, I really, really love them. And it's such a blessing that I'm able to make an impact with them and we can all call each other partners.
Yeah, that's incredibly, that's goals for real. And, you know, it's a blessing to even be in the same space with you and share this platform with you, because I know that so many people are looking to me, looking to you, looking to other people to see that there's opportunity to build within community and your family and your friends. And it's just incredible to see you do what you do.
Thank you. Thank
and I feel like, I'm like, how many hours are in a day? Because I feel like you do everything.
Right. I'm realizing that rest is essential.
Yeah.
Rest should not just be a luxury.
Yeah.
It is essential. And we need to give more of ourselves that. Like, we need to give ourselves more rest and more relaxation. And I'm going to utilize the summertime to do that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. First and foremost, congratulations on your collaboration with On.
Thank you.
Walk Good
Thank you.
and
Thank
On.
you.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
How did that come about, and what was the process collaborating with the brand?
Well, you know, my brother, cousin, and I, we all started Walk Good LA back in 2020 during the racial uprisings, and my brother was really moved by the death of Ahmaud Arbery. And he was like, you know, we're living in this world where we're in a pandemic, we're fighting for racial equity and solidarity. We need to find ways to heal together instead of fight together. And so that's how Walk Good LA really came about. You know, Ahmaud Arbery died running, you know, and we started as a running protest, June 13th of 2020. And On was actually one of our first community sponsors during the pandemic and what was going on back in late 2021, 2022. So they've been around for the past 2 years. And I think maybe about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, they reached out to us. Yeah, I want to say a year and a half ago, about the end of last year or end of 2022. They reached out to us and said, hey, you know, like, you guys are doing so much for the community. We want to give you a platform to share your story through creativity. And, you know, we were fans of the brand, you know, we loved their mission. But the way they were able to support us, And not just product-wise as a company, they were able to help us financially. They were giving us a foundation. And we're a nonprofit organization. And you don't see big brands doing this during a time where it's like, during the pandemic, people were like, how do we find ways of like showing more Black and brown businesses? And they didn't really have to publicize it. They just put their money where their mouth was. And so we were always great fans of what the organization stood for. But then showing us that we were able to show our creativity. And my brother and I, we always loved fashion, like growing up. Like my brother and I grew up in Jamaica with our grandmother. So a lot of the time we just spent our days just like with our grandmother, watching her like make clothes for politicians, just watching her cut and sew. And I'd be there like messing up all of the sewing machines in the room. But like she always made sure she gave me an assignment, and that was like learning how to hand stitch one day, or learning how to thread a needle, or learning how to thread a sewing machine. Like all of those things, or really all the things that led us to this collaboration with On, because walk good is a Jamaican euphemism. And so in our household, we tell people walk good, make sure you walk good at any time you leave the house. And it just means to get to your destination safely. And so we were able to actually put our grandmother's name inside like the tongue of the shoe. So when people see the shoe and they're walking in the shoe, they're walking with the spirit of our grandmother, Miss Ivy, who I'm named after. So you have you have Grandy, her name that we gave her. And so it's been a complete journey. It wasn't just a collaboration that happened overnight. This was something that started years ago, and we really had to build into this. But I think my brother and I being able to tell our stories and share our passion with the world, and the foundation, which is our family, our grandmother, our Jamaican roots, is really what holds us down but lifts us up. And so it was cool to also see the Jamaican flag like on the shoe. That was the coolest thing ever, because I'm like, nobody's really rocking like representing a Jamaican flag like on a shoe anywhere. So that was the coolest part, where I'm just like, wow. And Jamaica really showed up and showed out when it came down to the collaboration. Like we sold out literally probably less than like 10 days, less than a week and a half.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it was the ultimate blessing, and it was a whole collection. Like it wasn't just a shoe. We had a shirt, we have a windbreaker, all available, still on. We restocked. But yeah, it was an honor to just create that collection.
Wow. Touching on this topic of, it wasn't something that happened overnight. Everything takes time. And me personally, knowing about Walk Good since 2020, and me seeing you guys pour into the community, watering your flowers, right? Watching the flowers grow into a beautiful garden. That's kind of the message today, where it's like, you got to wait your turn. You got to wait when it's for you, it's for you.
It's for you.
And it will happen.
It's so funny, because my grandma always used to say that. She's like, what's for you can be un for you. Meaning what's for you is for you. It won't pass you. And I think accepting that too, like in the creative space that we're in the community space, like accepting that things might not always work out the way you want it to work out, but understanding that God has it all planned out, and you have to walk in faith. And I always say that to them, what's for me can be un for me. Like I just say that all the time.
I love the Jamaican accent, by the way.
After my patois comes out here and there.
And talking about waiting for your turn too, like in 2022 when your mom got her Emmy for the first time. I mean, I was emotional watching when you guys, that video. I was literally, I remember that day vividly, because I was walking my dog and I was going through social media, and I seen your post, and I remember literally having tears in my eyes, as if that was my mom, considering the fact that your mom is like everyone's mom, TV mom, but then also seeing the excitement from your perspective, because you've seen it all.
You know what? I'll never forget the moment I heard shh. Like I knew it. I heard I didn't even need to say hear Sheryl. But when she won her Emmy, it's like people will always say, you'll always remember when your child is born. You'll always remember when you get married. You'll always remember when you graduate or something like that. But I will never forget the moment my mom won her Emmy. Because it was as if like something had left my body. It was like my spirit was coming up, and like all I could do was like, yes, mommy, yes, mommy. And my brother and I were crying hysterically. Oh my God! 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 Yes, mommy! Yes, mommy! Yes, mommy! Yes, mommy!
Ever give up on you, because if you get a Quinta Brunson and your corner, if you get a husband like mine in your corner, if you get children like mine in your corner,
That's right!
friends like everybody who voted for me.
Because we had seen so much of what other people haven't seen. Like this wasn't just a moment of like excitement. This was a moment of release where she can really embrace herself and embrace her small wins, her big wins, her mid wins, whatever it was.
Right.
It was like, wow, as her children, we know everything she had sacrificed for us.
Right.
And so it was like, almost like she made it. And I know a lot of people will always say like, oh my God, I like she deserved this many years ago.
Right.
But to be honest, she deserved it exactly when she received it.
Right. That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. That's about watering your plants, watering your
Yeah.
flowers, and just waiting till they grow, and they're gonna grow.
And that's also learning that, like what we said, what's for you won't pass you.
Exactly.
Like, we understand that looking at her resume and everything that she'd established in her life and had accomplished in her life, that she deserved to be there.
Right.
She deserved to, be in that position and accept that. And the way she accepted her speech, I personally think that is one of the best speeches in the world.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Like, I mean, when she tells people, you must look in the mirror and love what you see, and you must keep believing, like, those are real words. Like, I don't think she was just talking to Black and brown folks because, we have to work twice as hard just to get where we are in life. She was talking to every individual, and I look at people speak to her
Right.
from that moment, and they're moved to tears. Like, I needed to be reminded to believe in myself.
Yeah.
But I love my mother just as much as everybody else does, and if not more, because it's like, I'm receiving everything she's saying too.
Yeah.
I have to big up myself. I have to remind myself that I have to believe in who I am, what I'm doing, because if you don't do it, who else is going to do it for you?
Exactly.
So I think that was the biggest reminder to anybody who feels like they're going through doubt, insecurity, or just really needed to tap deeper within themselves. Like, believe in yourself. It sounds cliche, but it's like you really have to keep believing in yourself.
Yeah. And one thing that helps me with believing in myself is like I close my eyes and I can envision myself in spaces.
That's manifestation.
That's manifestation. Yeah.
If you can see it and believe it, like anything is possible.
Exactly.
And I love that it's like all you really need is like how you feel about your vision.
Right.
Like you don't need to figure out how somebody else feels about your vision.
Exactly.
Like you need to believe in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's the confirmation.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it right now. Look. So with that being said, that was such a special night. And I think what else made it super special, you styled her.
Well, it's so interesting. I feel like I consulted on that, but we had Roberto and Brandon Blackwood. They're such an incredible duo.
Okay.
And he came in like literally, I was like, I think we should reach out. I told my mom, I was like, I think we should reach out to like Brandon Blackwood because she had done a fashion spread like maybe a couple weeks before. And so I was like, we should bring them on, those two. And she will always say like, she was like, no, you tag teamed in there. And I was like, I did, you know, I was there like from top to bottom. I was like, this is what we're going to do for hair.
Right.
You know, this is what we're going to, and you know, I think it was something where it was definitely a risk, but it was like the best risk. Like it was like,
looked amazing.
I loved seeing little girls recreate that. And when I went back home to Jamaica, I could see girls recreating the hairstyle. That was the coolest part ever. It was like seeing people recreate that look for like Halloween or just for like events. Like, I was like, wow, I didn't know that it was going to like make an impact.
Yeah. That's amazing. What's the process like when you do style your mom from the beginning to the end? Are you like, just tell me what the process is.
I think it's so funny because we've been doing this for a long time. Like she's always looked up to me in a way. And it's so interesting. Like she's always valued my opinion. And I'm like, listen, girl, I value your opinion. You gave me life. You know, I'm always seeking your advice. But it gets to a point where it's like your children really have a sense of style or, you know, a sense of wisdom that, you know, as you get older, you really want to be able to learn from your children. And I love that she's always willing to learn and she's always willing to stay open and remain open. But she's also a woman that knows what she wants. So there's great balance in our relationship. But it's always like, I have to remind her that she's in a different, you know, space in her career where it's like, there is a moment to sparkle and shine, but then there's a moment where it's like, girl, all you got to do is show up, be classy. Sometimes a black dress will take you very far, you know, because she has one of those looks that's like effortless.
Oh, yeah.
I truly look at her and I'm like, I'm so blessed to have her as a canvas because she is one of those classic beauties.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, ageless beauties.
Yeah.
So anytime we're really prepping for an event or anything, I always ask her, how do you want to feel? Right? What are you trying to share? And then we come to, an agreement on like, okay, how can I add to this?
Yeah.
But I think of styling as like therapy, you know, like working and being the vice president of Walk With LA. I'm also like a meditation leader and a breathwork leader. And so like, I like working with people like on an emotional level. You know, I think like when it comes down to our art, when it comes down to styling, we are the facilitators of making people feel good.
Exactly.
My grandmother always reminded me like, you know, when you feel good, you look good. And when you look good, you do good. And so I really take that into consideration when I'm working with my clients. It's such a blessing that my mom is where she is in life. And she's not just my mother. Like, I really respect her as my client. I come with what she wants. Like, I come with things that are maybe outside of her comfort zone to challenge her. And I think that's what partnership really is that like, hey, I'm here to make you try something different, but I'm also here to make you feel really good and, you know, really embody the energy of who you are from the inside out. But it's also great because I'm also seeing her in a light where she does get nervous sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that I'm like, hey, we can do some equal ratio breathing before you get on a red carpet. Listen, let's just take a deep inhale through the nose, loud exhale through the mouth. And like those things are real.
Yeah.
Like we don't talk enough about like the anxiety that comes on red carpet day. We don't talk about the anxieties that come on where it's like you're about to do a big panel in front of a whole bunch of people, like, or important meetings. And I'm so grateful that I don't just have to make her look good, but I also get to have her feel good. And I'm teaching her new ways of taking care of herself. So I'm learning so much from her too. Like her resume when it comes down to like fashion is also amazing because she's learned so much from back in the day in Dreamgirls. Like she knows how like easy ways to put on a hook and eye or a button or anything like that. Like I'm learning from what she's learned in her past movies and shows. And so I also, this is like the cherry on the top is when I was younger, I didn't get to spend as much time with my mother because she was on the road and, you know, she was supporting the life of my brother and I. So now I look at this moment where we are able to work together. And even though it's on a more serious note, but it's great because it's like after we get done with the press tour, I really do get to take off that, you know, that cape and she takes off her cape. And we are able to just talk to each other as mother and daughter.
Right.
Like we can look at it like, dang girl, we just slayed that press tour.
Right.
But now we can really be like, oh, well, maybe we should spend a spa day together.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I don't take that moment for granted because it's like, I also want to see that for the next generation, the family that I will create in the future. Hopefully they'll explore, you know, create the creative world. But I want the family to continue to complement each other in the future through our creative gifts, whatever they are in life.
Right.
Because this the time is special. Like we're not gonna get this time back.
Exactly.
And as busy as she is, I'm having also a better understanding too of like her schedule.
Yeah.
But hey, if she's booked busy blessed, I know I'm booked busy.
Period.
Blessed. So that's
right.
Yeah, that's the biggest blessing of them all.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I know that when I work with someone consistently, the lines can kind of get blurred where like it's client, stylist to like now we're friends. So then they start texting me all hours of the day.
Boundaries.
Boundaries, right.
You're right.
So because your mom is your client, do you guys cross? Does she cross, like, are you guys talking about fashion when you don't really feel like talking about it, or vice versa? And if, like, do you guys have those boundaries up?
Oh no, like I definitely think that like there are moments where you know what, actually, when I really do think about it, there are some times where I'm just kind of like, hey, like, let's actually put it on the schedule, you know, like, let's make a schedule, because she's the type of person that she will work. And I'm like, girl, you need to rest. Like, I am also very much aware of like when I need to rest, but are you aware of when you need to rest? So I love being that reminder for her. And I'm like, we can talk about it in the morning. But there are moments where I come in, and luckily I know where she lives. So like I'm coming, and sometimes I'll come in with like a rack of clothes, and I'm like, hey, like, let's meet in the office and like go through these looks. And she's like, girl, I need 30 minutes to lay my feet down, and I will come up to you when I'm ready.
Got you.
And I'm like, okay, cool. But I think the best thing about that is communication. Like, blurred lines happen because there is no proper communication.
Right.
So you need to lay that foundation of communication. And we have that. And now it's like, I'm getting older, and I'm like, okay, I want to enjoy my personal life where I'm in my late 20s now. I do want to like spend time with my friends outside of like walk good and styling. And then also me as my personal brand. Like, I do want to just have days where I'm like, can I just take a break? You know, like, and I think she's very understanding of that too. You know, she was in her 20s before, like, you know, she wants to, I'm like, I just need just 24 hours, just 24 hours, you know? Yeah. Just a day. You know?
So when did you come to realization too that you had a good, like you had a gift for styling, that you had good sense?
Oh, I knew I had a gift for style and fashion from probably when I was 4 years old. Like, I think my grandparents were my biggest supporters. You know, I think I would spend so much time in my grandma's factory, but I was the person like making sure I would bag up her clothes and like, you know, the clear dry cleaning, you know, like, yes. And after there was a garment that was, you know, custom made for somebody, or there had to go out for delivery, or was helping her do stuff for wholesale, like, I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know, like, you know, how do you make an outfit by hand? And like, I used to sit and watch my grandmother, like, even sew by hand when things couldn't be made. So like, I know that when someone tells me a no, it's a no for them. But it can be a yes for me. Because I've seen my grandmother make it happen. You know? So I think like being embraced by a family and a community, because I come from creatives, and I don't just come from my grandmother who was a pioneer in fashion. I come from a grandfather who was a musician. I come from a father who is a contractor and works with his hands. I come from a brother who is an actor. I come from a mother who is a multifaceted entertainer, actress, director. So we all have a great understanding. And I think the greatest thing is that like my grandmother also always told me like, you have it or you don't have it. Meaning like you have it or you don't have it. But the key to knowing that you have it is you knowing that you have it. Like you're the person that can only say to yourself like, oh, I got it. That je ne sais quoi. Like you have to really understand what your gift is. And it's beautiful because it's like working with my mother, she always reminded me that I had it. And when we were first starting our relationship and taking it to the next level and working with designers and getting things custom made, she was always like, you were born for this. And there was a day where I was questioning myself and I was like, you know what, can I really take this to the next level? And she laid out my first sketch when I was a kid. She had my first sketch, my first dress design was laid out on my bed, and she had a note, and she was like, "You got this."
Wow.
And I was like, "Wow."
That is so how
I didn't
special.
even know. And that's the beauty of working with my mom is that
Right.
she's also a great reminder that you were born for this.
Yes.
Like, this is in your DNA. And so when I have those moments of self-doubt, I have to really affirm myself. And I always remind myself of like, wow, that first sketch, like I've been doing this, like I'd always been that little kid that was ripping out magazines, like creating collages of like, this season I'm wearing this season I'm wearing that. Like, my mom has all of those things saved.
Wow.
And it wasn't until recently where I was like, well, recently meaning with the last, like, I want to say 3 to 4 years, where I was like, nah, I really do this.
Yeah.
I've been doing this. I've been practicing it to get to this level. So that's the ultimate blessing.
Wow. I heard you talk about working with your mom and then also now working with designers, taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
As a stylist that primarily works with like brown people, I find a lot of challenges when it comes to requesting clothes for talent, whether it's sizing issues or politics. Do you encounter those issues as well, considering that your mom is a pioneer? She's been in the game forever and she's receiving all these accolades. Are brands loaning to you as much, or is it still pushback?
I think it's 50-50. Like, sometimes it's like, hey, we get a great win. And then sometimes it's like, hey, maybe not right now, but we'd love to circle back. Like, I'm pretty sure you've heard that.
All the
And,
time.
I think also when you have an A-list celebrity client, you think you're going to have access to so much more, but that's not necessarily the case, because brands do have their vision of who they want in their wardrobe, and their aesthetic, and I completely understand that. But this was a time where also my mom and I knew that we could be game changers for Black designers. Right. So it was like, when she wore Blandon Blackwood for her Emmy, that was a big game changer. That was able to like set him off. Like, people are now seeing him create ready to wear.
Exactly.
Like, he is transitioning to something great.
Yeah.
When I styled her for the Super Bowl with Charles Harbison in a custom like luxury outfit for the Super Bowl, that was a redefining moment when she was singing the Black national anthem. Like, when I look at the relationship that I've created with Jason Rambert, and Aliette, like him being the designer, and he created an amazing custom piece for her for the Golden Globes. And I think about this and I'm like, okay, there are going to be a lot of no's, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more yeses. And if that has to start with the people that look like us, I'll always be here for that. Like, I don't know where I would be as a stylist if it wasn't for people helping me out, like Jason Rambert, like Serena Akers, those people saw me and they knew that, like, hey, you have a great client, you have a great gift. I'm going to show you what, I've created. Like, if we don't put each other on, like, where are we going? Exactly. We're talking about changing generational curses, and we're talking about creating generational wealth. But like, are we looking to our neighbors that look like us to make that growth and change happen within our community? And that in fashion, we need that. We need more Black designers in luxury spaces, showing their art, sharing their gifts, and telling people and showing people that it is possible. And if I have a great client to show and share the world, like, why wouldn't I call my bro, my sis, to help me out? Because these are also people like, when I had met Serena Akers for the first time, I think it was at like the Essence Women in Hollywood luncheon. And she knew me. Like, she was like, I see what you're doing. And I'm like, Serena Akers, who worked with Beyonce, Serena Akers? Like, I mean, like, I was shocked, So it was like, I didn't even know that, like, I was making an impact until, like, Jason was like, hey, girl, like, you got a gift. You need to keep going. Like, and I remember he asked me, he was like, okay, you love fashion. What are you going to do with it? Like, and I was like, wow, that's a deep question. Like, that's a deep question.
What was your answer?
And I didn't even answer. I was like, dang, I have to think about that, because this is when I really, like, we just started, and he was also styling her for her Essence cover. And I really got to sit back and watch. Like, I've learned so much from like Jason. I've seen like him work so much behind the scenes that I was able to like take notes. Like, I'm learning. Like Jennifer Lynn, who works with Angela Bassett, like I've seen her operate and I've seen her navigate with her team. Like, I'm also learning as much as I'm giving to other people and I'm creating, you know, new looks. I'm also learning. And that's the best thing that, you know, being a wellness advocate and a community leader has taught me, that I've been able to implement into my creative and styling space, is that you have to remain being a student and a teacher. Like, if you don't have the balance of those two things, you're not going to succeed.
Right.
And I will never be at a space in my life where I think that I know it all and I know everybody, because I'm not. And I am okay with making mistakes.
Exactly.
I'm okay with learning. I'm okay with pulling myself up by my bootstraps and say, I can try again and I can do it again. Because if I've done it before, I can do it again. But it's also just reminding yourself that everything will always work out for me.
A way to live, and that's practice. It takes
It's a way of life.
Yeah, it's a way of life.
It's a way of life.
How do you feel your style has changed over the last few years?
I definitely changed my style quite a few times, just like within my 20s.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, I don't know. I think within the last 2 years, I've truly became like a minimalist. Like, I'm one of those persons who I feel like has always loved the color brown and like teal. Like, I love my neutral colors. So I'm so comfortable sitting in that. But as I've gotten older and as I've just continued to grow up and out as a young woman, like I just embraced like the idea. And also I understand you can never go wrong with classic.
Right.
You know, like you can never go wrong with a great dress. You can never go wrong with a great trouser, a great blazer. And that's especially being a stylist when you're meeting a new client. I'm like, you can never go wrong with a great pair of slacks and a great blazer, meeting somebody new. You know what I mean? Like, I know what it is to show up in spaces, and like, I want to be taken seriously. You know, I want people to understand that this girl doesn't just look good, but she's about her business. So I think recently I would say like, I love a great power suit. Like, I love like a collared shirt. I'm the type of girl, like my go-to outfit is a collared shirt, some slacks, and maybe like a crop top underneath. Like, I realize that I don't have to do too much.
Right.
You know, like classic
Your
will
face
take.
is gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, classic looks will take me far in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think with my style, I've learned less is more.
yeah, less is
sometimes.
more.
Just like I invest in pieces that I know I love.
Quality. Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually investing my money and time, and I want to know like, oh, where does this fabric come from, or like, what's the story behind this designer, or you know, the pant or the shoe that I'm wearing. Like, I actually want to know the history of the items that I'm wearing in my closet now. And I I will always be supporting Black brands. I don't care what anybody says. Like, we deserve to be in luxury spaces
Absolutely.
as Black creatives.
Yeah. That was one of the things me and my client, Jackie Ina, used to do a lot. Was she was heavy on like, let's work with as many Black designers as we can work with. Nigerian designers, all types of just brown colored people, because if we have this platform that we can share and we can put a designer on Jackie and the next day they're sold out.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
That's really like changing the economic shift, because Black and brown people, we have so much buying power.
Yeah.
Like, we have, when it comes down to fashion, when it comes down to shoes, when it comes down to hair products, our dollar matters the most.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to invest in as many things when it comes down to how we look as possible.
Yeah.
And so if I can really change and make a difference in somebody when they're, you know, hey, I need to find a great new dress, like, for sure. It might not. And I think also like our dollars, our spending dollars, and like where it's going.
Yeah.
We know that like it's an investment when we are supporting Black luxury designers, but we know the quality is going to be great too. If you know, like, you've seen somebody on the red carpet wear this designer.
Right.
Like, that's what it should be. Like, you know, we should be also creating things that are affordable.
Yeah,
Affordable and accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Just stepping back into your world, how How do you balance having such a full life with walk good and styling? How do you balance that and your personal life? What are some practices that you do?
Wow. I mean, I'm such an affirmational person. Like, I got my breathwork certification and I got my meditation certification because I needed to get a checkup from the neck up with myself. You know what I mean?
I like that.
I will always tell people that get a checkup from the neck up.
I like that.
But I knew, like, I think after like 2019, before we were going into the pandemic, I was going through such a big emotional shift.
Okay.
Like before before, you know, we were going into the racial uprising, I already knew within myself that I was like, 2020 is going to be my best year yet. I already told myself that. Like, nothing's going to bring me down. I don't even think the pandemic brought me down. I actually doubted. I think the pandemic did more for me. Like, I was already running miles. I was training for a half marathon before. And then everybody, you know, was outside running. And I was like, okay, great. Now I got a community. Now I'm able to share my gifts. Like, I was already having all of these practices, like, in my back pocket that I was just doing for myself. So now I'm able to show that for my community. But I have to, now that I'm showing up more for my community, I also have to show more for myself. Because I'm telling people, oh yeah, I got to check up from the neck up. Oh yeah, make sure you rest and heal. Make sure you find a therapist. And I'm like, okay, I also have to do that for myself. And so, like, you know, there's not every day where I'm going to be like doing a yoga flow. You know, I realize I got to find other things, and that might be journaling. That might just be going for a simple walk. It doesn't always have to be a run. It could be a walk. It could really just be sitting out by the beach and just like, we take that for granted. Like living in a coastal city, you know, like just being outside, like watching the sunset. Like, I think we were talking about this earlier too, is about the little things in life. That's really what makes me happy. So it's not that, you know, I have to go out and do something big to reward myself, to feel good about myself. It's about just tapping into my inner child. And the inner child for me was like the sunsets, the walks, you know, like maybe just sitting and having a cup of tea with a family member, calling somebody, telling them that I love them. Like, those fill my cup up, you know? And then also doing absolutely nothing. You know?
I'm big on that.
I'm big on that. Like, I've really taken the power of turning off my phone seriously.
Oh, I love that.
Like, do not disturb. I was always against that. And then I'm like, no, I'm actually going to start putting that into action a little bit sometimes. So yeah, I definitely think I find peace in release. I found a lot of peace in release.
Wow. I feel like our job, we're kind of like therapists as well, like being a stylist. We're like, I show up in these spaces and I have to be okay so I can be okay for other people. I can't just show up and you know that. We can't just show up. We have to take time for ourselves. We have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And then I have to be available for other people.
Yeah. I mean, that energy is palpable too. Like when you're with clients and they're like, are you okay? Like, are you, and then if you come in and like, oh, my day was just so drained. Like, they're going to be like, oh, wait, she's shaking up. Like, I can't do that. I have to keep my composure. And yeah, it's sometimes hard, but like, I have to be able to like take a moment of solitude for myself. Like, we have to remember that we can breathe. Like a simple deep breath in through the nose, loud exhale through the mouth is going to work wonders for you. If you can't sit in your car for a minute or two before you go in to see a client and take a deep breath for yourself and give yourself an amazing affirmation, like, you forgot. Like, you're spending so many hours giving yourself to so many other people. Why can't you give yourself maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes, maybe 10, depending on the day and the time that you have? But you have to carve out a little time for yourself. That's another thing my grandmother said. And she was like, make sure you have your little space in the world. You know, like, as much as you will go out and find your way, you have to have a little space in this world for yourself.
Oh, yeah? I love that.
Yeah, you have to.
Grandma was a wise woman.
Oh, very much so. Very much so.
I love that. Let's tap into the this or that section of the show.
This or that. This or that.
Let's start here. Are you a sneaker girl or a heels girl?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay, but if you had to pick, there was just no option. You had to pick one or the other.
Oh, sneakers.
Sneakers.
Yeah.
Okay. Natural nails or acrylic nails?
Natural.
Natural. Chocolate or caramel?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
I love chocolate. I mean, my name's Coco. Like, I
Right.
love chocolate.
Period. And it's funny because when I wrote this question, I said to myself, she's gonna think this is flavors, but I'm also thinking like chocolate or caramel.
Oh, I mean, I love chocolate.
The answer hasn't changed. Red carpet styling or press junket styling?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Red carpet.
Red carpet.
Red carpet.
Yeah. It's like the Olympics kind of. When you're doing it, you're like everyone's giving their best. Kind of
Yeah.
cool. It's like an adrenaline, right?
Yeah. This is like the top of the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Books or movies?
Movie.
Movies.
Movie.
Same. This might be a question you can answer, maybe not. Men's styling or female styling?
Dang.
No wrong answer.
Female styling.
Female styling. I agree.
Yeah, female styling. I love men though because I feel like there's a part of me that's like also a tomboy. Like I always have some sort of like masculine like flair to a lot of my outfits.
Yeah.
So like I love men's fashion, and my brother is like my first male like model that I've
Right.
ever like styled before. When I was a kid, I used to love dressing like my brother. So like he's always been a great fashion inspiration for me. That's why I'm a sneakerhead, because of my brother, and that's why I love men's fashion, because of my brother.
And I feel the same about women's styling because growing up, I was styling my mom and my sisters.
Yeah.
So like, I just grew up like dabbling in women's clothing
Yeah.
and just loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like,
and my grandmother, she invented a suit called the Kariba, and it was for men. It was for male politicians in the West Indies and West Africa, and she had created this, suit that basically was for men not to sweat. She created them in natural
where's that
fabric.
suit at now? I need-
Yeah, I'm gonna bring them back. House of Ivy coming soon. But yeah, she created a Kariba suit for men. So when they were in hot climates, they had natural fibers, so they weren't sweating as much. And so that was pretty much the foundation of how I also got introduced to men's fashion as well.
I'm blown away because
Yeah.
I feel like you guys, it's just like one gift after another. I'm just unloading all these gifts from you guys and just taking it all in. It's so amazing.
It's a blessing.
It's
I'm
a
like, I come
blessing.
from great
You
people.
come from greatness.
And I come from like creative people.
Yeah.
Yeah, great and creative people.
Yeah. Wow. So, this is my last question. This is a question that I ask pretty much every guest. If you don't have an item with you now, it's okay. We'll take some pictures if you have
Okay.
something. But is there an item that you have today that you've had for years that you just styled your way through seasons with, that you just can't let go? It's just something very special to you that you still have to this day?
Probably like a tape measure. Like I always have a tape measure because like my grandma always had a tape measure, or like I'll either have like a safety pin or like a needle and thread. Like I always have that on me. It's one of those three things. If I don't have a tape measure, I have a safety pin on me.
Wow.
If I don't have a safety pin on me, I have a needle and thread on me. Like it's one of those three things.
Yeah.
It's always in my purse. I always have one of those three things. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel like we learned so much from you today. I learned some gems, and I'm so thankful to share some space with you today. I feel like the first time I met Ivy you had on a Vivienne Westwood bustier. I remember
Yeah.
that
Oh my
corset.
God. Yes. Yes.
And you told me that was from your mom.
Yes.
And I remember thinking, wow, this girl is so fab.
Thank you. I'll never forget that day.
Yeah.
I had that denim Vivienne Westwood
It was so
corset
fire. You look
on.
so good that day.
Thank
So
you.
I'm just so happy to see you grow in this space that you're in.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing all that you do.
And thank you for you doing and for everything that you do. Like,
Aw.
you are a game changer. And I love that you can be in this space and tell people, hey, you don't have to just look good, you gotta feel good.
Exactly.
Yeah, you gotta know what you know and share it with the
Exactly.
world. Yeah.
I love you.
I'm
Thank
proud
you
of
for
us.
having me. I'm proud of you.
Thank
I'm
you
proud
for
of
having me.
the lovely Ivy Coco.
And the lovely Manny Jay.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Styling My Way Through. If you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And if also you love it, thumbs it up, Tell a friend to tell a friend. Episode 3 coming soon.